Welcome to the Injury to Recovery YouTube channel. My name is Greg and this is Blaine from Recover Physical Therapy in Twin Falls. And this week, what are we talking about?
Plantar fasciitis.
Plantar fasciitis. Now, we did have a previous video that was put out there on plantar fasciitis. We are going to remove this. For this one, we've actually improved our editing style. So if you've already seen that one and you thought it was terrible, hopefully this is a little bit better.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, we'll have some better filming. But so plantar fasciitis is a real common foot pain that a lot of people have. It's usually felt in the arch of your foot or a lot of times in your heel, sometimes in your Achilles as well. And so the hallmark sign of plantar fasciitis is it usually hurts when you first step out of bed in the morning or after you've been sitting for a long time. Those first few steps hurt, or after you've been walking for a long time. And so your plantar fascia is a thick piece of connective tissue that runs from your heel to the base of your toes on the bottom of your foot. And for whatever reason, it gets irritated in a lot of people. And so there's some good exercises that can be done to help manage it and to make it go away. So that's what we'll be talking about today.
And usually, what is an injury caused? Like, what is this usually caused by? What kind of injury?
So it's usually caused by an abrupt change in your activity level. So like I actually had it once because I went and ran one of those obstacle course races with a lot of mud that you run through. So I basically ran several miles with mud in my shoes, and I was in shape for the race, but I was not in shape to run that far with mud in my shoes. And so it was a real different activity than what I was used to. And so you'll often see it too, like say someone goes and runs a 5K and they didn't train for it. It's just an abrupt change in their activity level. Sometimes you'll see it too in people who stand a lot, cashiers or people have jobs that require them to be on their feet for a long time.
Yeah, so my experience in the military, we used to ruck on the sandy shore, and I'm sure that would cause something from time to time if you're going out there and putting on 80 pounds and deciding to walk through the sand.
Yeah,
So,
there's a lot of things that can cause it. That's a good example. And sometimes for no good reason, it just pops up and it's hard to identify the reason. But it afflicts a lot of people.
all right, let's get to it.
Alrighty. So for this first exercise, you can see Greg is standing on the edge of a step, and he has the ball of his feet on the step while his heels are hanging off the back. And he's just going up and down on his tippy toes. This is called a calf raise. And this is a good exercise to strengthen the calves, and also as he drops down, it stretches the calves as well. So getting your calves really strong, and it also puts a tension on your plantar fascia, and putting that strain on your calves and on your Achilles tendon and on your plantar fascia is a great long-term solution for plantar fasciitis. It's one of those exercises that it probably won't take the pain away immediately, but if you do this consistently and get your calves really strong and nice and flexible, then it's a great long-term management solution for plantar fasciitis. And now as Greg is continuing here, you can see he's putting a slight bend in his knee. And what that does is it actually works a deeper calf muscle called your soleus. So when your knees are straight like he was doing previously, it works a more superficial muscle. And now when your knees are bent, it works a more deep muscle. And it's good to do both variations to hit both muscles. And you can kind of feel it starts to burn really well.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't take too long, does it?
Nope, not at all.
And after you practice this for a couple weeks, you'll notice your calves begin to get stronger and you'll be able to tolerate more repetitions. And once you get to that point, you can increase the challenge by doing it on just one foot at a time. And this is a whole lot more difficult on just one foot. But if you get to the point where you're strong enough where you can do 10 or 20 of these on one foot, that's an indicator you have pretty good calf strength. So this next exercise is called towel crunches or scrunches. And so you're just going to put a towel on the floor and you're going to use your toes to really flare up and grab the towel and try to curl it in and scrunch up the towel. And you can do that several times and then reset the towel and just do this repeatedly. So this is a good one to do for about 5 minutes a day. And what this exercise does is it works a lot of those smaller little intrinsic muscles in your feet that help support your arch. And so this is another good exercise to keep your arch strong and help stimulate healing to that plantar fascia that's got some pain going on inside of it. Here's another view of the towel scrunches. And so you can do this with your socks on or your socks off, but as you reach up and grab the towel, you want to really flare your toes upward into extension and kind of flare your toes apart from each other. And then when you grab the towel, you really just pull it in and suck the towel in as far as you can. So you really want to curl your toes underneath the best you can.
Without the socks.
Yeah, there's a better view without the at the socks, and try to really just flare those toes up in both directions. Flare them upward and then really pull them in down underneath as far as you can. And the nice thing about this exercise is you can do it while you're watching a TV show or listening to a podcast, or it doesn't really take a lot of extra time.
I like that one. Sorry. Okay.
You're okay. This next exercise is a calf stretch with some combined movements. And so Greg is stretching his right calves here. So he's putting his right foot way behind him. And you can see he's shifting his weight left and right. And so what that does is it stretches his ankle into dorsiflexion, which is moving your ankle and your toes upward, and also adding some inversion and eversion. And so this is a very effective stretch for people with plantar fasciitis, because usually when people have plantar fasciitis, they lose this motion where they lose the ability to dorsiflex and then also invert and evert their ankle. And this forces you to do that. And so you want to just really keep that back leg flat on the floor and not let your heel or your foot lift up, and really shift your hips left and right. So you get that good combined motion while you're stretching your calf. So here's another view from a different angle. So just notice he's keeping on his back foot there that he's stretching his calf. He's keeping that foot flat on the floor. And I would recommend doing this one while you're leaning your hands up against a wall, or a kitchen counter works well. Or like Greg is using the squat rack there. But something sturdy you can rest your hands on while you shift your weight left and right. And you should be able to feel this stretching your calf kind of on the inside and the outside of your calf as you shift left and right.
Yeah, and it's not like intense, but it is pretty, like you do feel.
Yeah, it's different than just a straight calf stretch. The last exercise we're going to show you for plantar fasciitis is a rolling technique. And so for this one, we're just using a cylindrical shaped thing. This is just a bottle of lotion, but you can also use like a can of beans, or you can use like a frozen water bottle. Some people like that for the ice. You can also use, if you want to dig in a little bit deeper, you can use a tennis ball or a racquetball or a golf ball will dig in really nice and deep. But you're just going to kind of press in with some pressure and roll that roller or ball from the base of your toes all the way down to your heel.
So again, the plantar fasciitis is this muscle, is that correct?
Yeah, the plantar fascia.
Plantar fascia.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So the plantar fascia runs from your heel to your toes there. And so here's a slightly more zoomed in view of the rolling technique. And again, people will often use like a baseball bat or a tennis ball works really well.
Again, another thing you can do when you're sitting in front of the television or relaxing and reading a book or something.
Yeah, and the good thing about this one is this one generally tends to provide fairly quick relief, whereas like the calf raises we did are more of a long-term solution. They won't provide quick relief, but this one does generally make people feel better after they do it.
Nice. Well, Blaine, thanks for helping us fix our video editing error from last time. And hopefully this is a much higher quality video that somebody will want to watch and improve their plantar fasciitis. Any final words that you'd like to share with us?
If you have plantar fasciitis and you go through these exercises, there's a really good chance they will help you feel better. Don't expect a quick fix. Sometimes plantar fasciitis takes several weeks or even months to get through. Sometimes it requires a change of footwear. If it doesn't get better with these exercises, I would recommend speaking to a physical therapist, because there's a lot more deeper things we can do. But if you have a mild to moderate case of plantar fasciitis, there's a good chance it might get better just by doing these 4 exercises.
Nice. All right, well, thanks a bunch for watching, and we'll catch you next time.